motherfucker didn't even know what he had.
One time I was at a sports store and they had a bucket of used demo clubs, and I swear to God, the clubs were marked at like $1. And so I grabbed like Callaways and Tailor Mates at $1, and I'm checking out. And I'm like, didn't even say anything to the cashier. It was like $13 for like $1,300 worth of clubs. I was like, thank you, have a nice day. She's like, you're welcome. I was like, I can't believe they just gave me all these clubs for $1 a piece. What the fuck were they thinking?
I showed you the bats that I got the other day, didn't I?
No.
Oh my god. By the way, that's a picture of me right now. You know, because I just made a bunch of moves and made a bunch of money today, so I feel like I'm in a baller mood. That's why I got my glasses on. But here, let me show you. I took a photo.
Oh man, you're hilarious. Dude,
Ow.
that's
Okay.
that I gotta say that's probably your best PTR ever. And I have like probably like 50 screenshots of your PTRs. Not in like a crazy way, but like I think your PTRs are always funny.
Yeah, but PTR, those are the bats. I went to a thrift store the other day, and I was walking around and I found this bag and it said $8. It was a bag, like a bag, a bat bag for like people that play baseball, and like it was chock full of fucking bats. And it said $8. I'm like, well, is it $8 for the bag or like the bag and everything in it? I'm like, yeah, it's the whole thing. And I was like, okay. I didn't even fucking open it. Those are the bats I got. Like, dude, $8 for like 12 bats.
It's a lot of baseball bats.
Yeah,
If you
and
build
most of the
it,
baseball
they
bats,
will
like
come.
three of them are worth like over $100.
If you build it, they will come. Hermes is
Well, I mean
also
that's what she
here.
said.
Thurbin is also here. I'm
But if you're gonna go
live.
left to left, you stay left to left. If you're gonna go up and down, you stay up and down. Don't switch.
Do you know the differences between a slice, a draw, a fade, and a pull?
The club head angle.
Basically. Welcome, Hermes, to the meditation.
Hola, cabrones.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigo? Did you see that Cheech and Chong are coming out with another movie?
Wait, that's interesting.
It's one last fucking joint, man. One last joint. You will go on YouTube and look at the preview. It's actually very funny.
That's funny.
There's such fucking you know how they've made $100 million in movies, and they're just they're two cabrons, and it is very funny. They really see they are the perfect example of comedy, hypnosis, and business.
Of, of, of all their movies, I would have to say the Corsican Brothers is still my favorite.
I don't know if
Oh
I've
yeah,
ever
that's
actually seen
hilarious.
that one. I haven't seen that one. I've seen probably some clips, but some of the pictures that they made are really beautiful. Like the coloring, the time. They're great films. They're beautiful films. Um, but the fact that they came out with one more is you got to
They
watch the
needed the
preview though,
money.
because it's actually about how they ended up hating each other.
Oh really? That's funny.
Yeah, you should watch the preview because it's got a lot more in the preview. It's not just like some fucking fantasy comedy. It's like about how they ended up splitting apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good preview, because it deals with conflict, and that's really what life is all about.
Did you ever see Cheek's movie called Born in East LA?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's hilarious. So he's actually from East LA, right? Born and raised, and he goes and gets a job because he needs money, right? So he's at this like fabric factory that makes fabric for clothing, and it gets raided by immigration, right? So they're like,
hey, where's your ID? And he left his fucking wallet at their house. So they deport him to Mexico, right? And he's like, man, fuck you guys. I'm born in East LA. It's hilarious as hell. So he's in Mexico. He finds this beautiful Mexican girl, right? And he marries her, brings her back to the U.S. Eventually, he gets back to the U.S., but he stays in Mexico like a whole fucking year. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, even the way you have. Let me see if I can get you the preview. But anyways, just go on YouTube. They talk about how they even came up with the name Cheech and Chong. It's just so much about it. It's basically a documentary about their lives and careers. So it's should be pretty interesting to watch because it's really a movie about communication. It's a communication about communication. Kind of what meditation is all about. It's about a vibration, a meditation. Doc, have you ever been to Los Angeles?
Nope.
The Buddhas are awesome in Los Angeles.
The what are awesome?
Las putas.
Oh, I thought you said Buddhas. It's the same thing. Booties. Booties.
Only if you got fucked by a Corsican. Puta.
Puta madre maricón. Puta madre maricón.
I wish a motherfucker would. Man, I'm having a good day. Straight up, subscribe. Like, this is one of the better days I've ever had.
Oh, good. That's probably because you're high because you bought a bunch of shit. That's why people buy shit because it's a dopamine
No,
feedback
I made a
transaction.
bunch of money.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You're high on the dopamine.
Well, no.
No.
How much money that you make?
No, I have a bunch of stuff, and I buy stuff and I sell stuff, but like
He's
I got
denying
rid
the
of something.
dopamine. He's denying dopamine. He's saying I feel great, but yet he's saying it's not about the dopamine. I'm like, it is about the dopamine.
No, what I'm saying is that like I'm excited because I have one of my buddies that's been living with his mom, and they have a bunch of land, but he's kind of stuck living inside the house because there's nowhere else for him to go. And I got that 38-foot RV, but I was able to make a move and sell my Porsche and be able to buy the RV. And the RV was negligible. I still made money on the Porsche, and the RV was free, and I was able to give it to my buddy so that he can move into the backside of his mom's property by their other well, and he can get the fuck out of his mom's house. So I feel excited for his mom.
You feel excited for his mom. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. Change is a good thing. And, they just shut down the gym that I've been going to for many years now. And as they were ripping down the sign, some woman took the big X. And I was like, fuck. I was like, oh, I wish I could have gotten that X before her. But I was filming them do the teardown, and I come up to her like a news reporter, and I'm like, "So what are you gonna do with the X?" She's like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm going to put it in my basement." She's like, "It is part of history. I've been coming to this gym for 20 years." I was like, "Oh, that's nice." but it was the last day, the last hour, and yeah, I'm gonna like put that video on YouTube and call out the alderman, and because if they don't utilize that property or they tear it down or who knows, but every alderman is essentially responsible for a lot of the businesses in the area, and if you don't have a nice diversification of businesses, the
Where I'm
people
from,
suffer.
we don't have aldermen, so I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Every business has to go through the alderman's office. It's fucking absurd, but that's the way you can open it. Only way to open a business in Chicago is through the government office, which is the aldermanic office. That's it. You can't just rent a store and go to business. Like, they'll shut you down. The aldermans control the businesses, and they believe me, they know every fucking business on it. They got every single one on a fucking spreadsheet. And they just, they're ruthless. Chicago's ruthless. My dad told me one time, he's like, whatever you do, never talk to your alderman. I was like, huh? You've seen it all. You've been a witness. It's a brutal system. We live in this is how the system, is so good in many ways because it's so brutal. The Romans were the same thing. We are technically just ancient Rome lying to ourselves that we're not, but nothing has changed. It's always been essentially the same shit. But now our chariots have, 6-cylinder engines and two of your switches are out. My car, I took the car to the shop yesterday and he's like, dude, we can't diagnose your car. I'm like, fuck. They don't know which cylinder. But my fucking engine is failing. It's brutal. My Silver Surfer is dying. I should have bought the Porsche.
Wait, you're talking about that piece of shit Lexus you still got?
Yeah, I never should have bought that car. I've had nothing but problems with it. I should have bought the Porsche they had, a Porsche Cayenne. I wonder if it would have had more or less problems. But I love an SUV. I fucking hate sedans. I like sitting up.
And the Porsche will keep its value better than Lexus.
Yeah, you're right. It does. People do like Porsche. Lexus is shit. I mean, old Lexus is shit. New Lexus is fucking nice, but
the next car I'm gonna buy is a Porsche Panamera, the V8 version, and it has such bad reviews because it's so hard to work on. But I'm so a fucktard when it comes to working on my own shit. I'll figure it out.
This guy told me, he's like, it's $200 or $1,000. I was like, oh fuck.
Well, but the first version of the Cayenne is actually probably one of the better fucking cars that's hit the market in the last 20 years.
Auto parts is like a multi-billion-dollar business. It's so annoying because, you need in auto repair, it's like, yep, you need this tiny little fucking gas compression pump, and it's like, you can only buy it on this website, and you got to find it for this fucking model of this fucking car. It's like they do a lot of research, and they know, but they also don't want to do micromanagement. They want to do whole projects, and it's like, no, dude, I just need one thing changed. I don't want to change everything. That's why I say it's $200 or $1,000.
The thing is, when you look at, you have a Bugatti, right? And the Bugatti, this sensor goes bad, or that little pump goes bad over here. And you go through Bugatti to get that pump or that little sensor, and they're $2,000, $3,000 for the. But if you actually pull the fucking sensor out and you look at the part number, you realize it's an Audi part or a Volkswagen part, and you can order it from another model vehicle, but it's the same fucking part. And it's $25, $43, but it's the same part that, because you don't know how to fucking do it yourself, you're paying $1,400 for a fucking part.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground.
Well, the wheels, the tires for a Bugatti are $5,000. That's what you're going to spend on
right.
A set of tires.
No, it's $21,000 back in 2018. And because when you change the tires, you don't just change the tires, you change the rims.
Oh yeah, with the rims. Yeah. Now, why do they have you change the rims as well?
Because you're talking about a vehicle. The thing is, like, if you go above like 220 miles an hour on a set of like, tires, like if you're going above 220 miles an hour, your tires are going to run bald in probably less than 20 miles because like the centrifugal force of the tire slapping the ground and like rocking like all the tread off of it, like you're going to have bald tires in a really quick, amount of time.
Yeah, so what was amazing is I brought my car back, and when I was backing up, he did my brakes, and when I'm backing up, like it's grinding. So I'm like, oh, and by the way, it's fucking grinding. He's like, oh, well, look. He's like, yeah, it was something angled, and we greased it, and it's good. Now it doesn't fucking grind anymore. So it's like I just love how shit comes to equilibrium, directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously, but when everything works out your way and you're having a good day, next thing you know, oh my gosh, it's something new. Here we go
Dude,
again.
I've had the biggest dopamine kick of my day in probably in 2025 because I feel like because I was able to do something for somebody that really needed it.
Mhm.
I feel like in my Fruity Loops about the dopamine kick,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I don't want to feel narcissistic about it.
There's nothing wrong with telling a story. I'm creating a video over here. It's a film, Like if you got a great story to share, that's what we want to film. My I'm in this American Legion post here by my house, and it's with all senior citizens, man. And I'm telling you, people who are not healthy, some are worse than others, but they can't even get up. So I become the server. Like I'm just doing, you realize I'm not taking care of my dad. My dad's married, and my mom now has a medical problem, and hopefully it's not, but. I haven't had to take care of any senior citizens directly, and my grandmother is in an assisted living facility. But you're just reminded, like, oh, you gotta help, you gotta help. Like a lot of these older people need help. Not a lot of them have kids, and not a lot of them know what to do, and a lot of them, who knows what's going on with them because a lot of them aren't really functional. Like the brain just isn't working, and they get stuck in time loops, and you're like, wow, that's a total waste of time. But I'm just here to be present. I'm not here to like take charge. I'm not here to even be involved. I'm really just here to try to help, and let whatever is happening here happen. But nothing's really happening. You're just managing some bank accounts, and that's about it. But like nobody has any vision, and nobody has any energy to actually do anything. So that's what's really happening, which is nothing's happening, which is okay. You just have to be in contentment in the nothing. But yeah, I think filming stories is good. And what I'm saying is there's this newspaper near my house. And so what I'd like to do is go to that newspaper office. I know some of the people there and say, hey, what I want to do is documentaries and just like film and record, local people who I consider like local celebrities and capture their story. Just 3 minutes. Use YouTube Shorts and then let them publish that on their website. It's called Native Newspaper. They're technically my competitor to Jefferson Park News, but I say fuck it. Better to work with them than work against them. But I think that's what a lot of these people want is they want their story to be recorded, to be heard, and to be preserved. I think it's like a worthwhile thing to do is to shoot these little documentaries for locals as opposed to like recording Clubhouse or X.
Honestly, I don't want people to call me a piece of shit when I'm dead.
When you're dead, you're dead. That's one of the funniest things. It's like, many people are worried about their reputation now, and
Well, I mean, what if your name ended up becoming mud?
listen, nobody talks about Jefferson Davis. And when you're dead, you're dead. That's the point. Is nobody's talking about Caesar even today. Nobody's talking about, Pope Pontius the 16th. I mean, dude, now is a compression. If you have memories of the past, a lot of it is from books. But the whole thing is you are alive now. And so, your thought is a projection, which is really just fear of death itself.
I kind of understand.
Yeah.
Kinda.
It goes back to that maxim. I mean, I was going to compliment you earlier because you know the concept of agape, but you also understand, all communication is hypnosis, but you also understand the more you think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you get. So, with that knowledge, especially that last one, is that the baseline is positive or neutral, really. But all communication is hypnosis. So, most is low vibration. And if you want to counteract that, you have to have a higher vibration just to get back to neutral. So, you got to like +2 to get above baseline. And
Is that
so,
why I became a hypochondriac?
I don't know. I feel like sober people are more hypochondriacs than people who, don't indulge in wine, and essentially say fuck it, I'm gonna eat the cheese pizza, fuck it. That's some good
Yeah,
pizza
well,
and
as long
wine.
as it's not the kale ale.
I mean, the devil's salad essentially does do mysticism or soul, separation. It degirders, but I think reading books is the big thing. You know,
I
that's the big
totally
thing.
need to roll another blunt.
That's what I say. Whenever I go to my local, bar and I'm talking to people and they're smoking a joint, I'm like, "Have you ever read a book after you smoked a joint?" They're like, "No." They're like, "No, man. I just watch Netflix." I'm like, "Dude, you have to get a book, like a really positive spiritual book. Read the Bible for God's sakes. Read Psalms. Read Proverbs. Read,
I read meditations.
yeah, I tell people all the time to read Marcus Aurelius Meditations after like having a glass of red wine and smoking a joint. You have to make it
Dude,
mystic.
like the one thing that I really like, when I went to with my mom to Italy for like 2.5 months, and in '04,
Hmm.
I had not ever read Marcus Aurelius, but I think had I read that before I went to Italy for 2.5 months, my experience would have been much different.
Well, you told me one time you were going to jail and you brought the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius with you and you bartered the book away for a pack of cigarettes. I was like, that's hilarious.
No, no cigarettes. There's no cigarettes in jail. No, two fresh T-shirts and a fresh pair of boxer shorts. Don't get me fucked up, Ricky Bobby.
I,
Talk about
those
cigarettes. There ain't no
that
cigarettes in jail.
there's cigarettes in the psych ward.
Well, I mean, where you're at.
I couldn't believe it. In the psych ward, they have cigarette break every day. I was like, this is supposed to be like
Research
a.
purposes only,
I was
really.
like,
Yeah.
why in the? Because it's so funny because the federal government, it can't be against tobacco, and since tobacco is essentially liberation, it's the same thing, and we believe in liberty that they allow somebody in a psych ward to smoke a cigarette every day if you're a smoker. I'm like, this is very American. Like maybe you want to stop people from smoking the cigarette, but see the thing is, people also need to do yoga. I really do believe that like in a therapeutic setting, if you're not also addressing the body and doing exercise, you can't hope to do any real therapy work with somebody because what you're really doing is just creating a temporary short-term fix. But, you know, because part of life is really the strength of your body, and so it's your vehicle, and if you're not attending to the needs of the vehicle and you're only working, for the exterior, you're not really doing real therapy work. You have to work on the interior or the body. It's my opinion. And thus, why I'm going to go to the gym soon. I've got a 16-minute hard out, top of the hour. I'm going to end the meditation and go into liberation.
So you think, other than the baseball bats, this is the PTRs I should keep for now?
Yeah, it's a funny photo. It's because, technically it's got like a lot of magical elements. The hat, the glasses, the necklace, the beard. Yeah, you look like a magician.
I'm just Brian, dude.
Yeah, but you look like Moses, conquering Babylon.
I didn't know he had an Australian like style kangaroo hat.
You don't think Moses wore a hat when he went into battle? Of course he did.
Our boy line should line.
Nobody goes into battle without protective headgear. Doesn't matter what year it is. Okay, this has been meditation. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hermes, any final comments, questions, thoughts, ideas, opinions? Hello?